We're here in the space of the artist cooperative I'm part of, Justseeds. Justseeds is a decentralized artist cooperative of 25 artists. We make work, mostly printmakers. We make prints on themes of social and environmental justice. Hi, my name is Tremonte. I'm 33 years old. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm really into education, especially with teenagers, and printmaking, I already mentioned, and DJing, and the creation of intentional social spaces. So one of the things I do is I organize a monthly, semi-monthly queer lady dance party called Operation Sappho. I have a friend that's really into the idea of like creating a queer scouts, and running with that theme. We had a queer scout Sappho, and I made all these like drawings and silkscreen, these really simple merit badges, and gave them out to people at Sappho. And then I was talking to folks more about it, and someone was like, you need to get actual merit badges made of this, which I thought was a brilliant idea. So, and for me, this is really about visibility and kind of creating new signifiers. I've been into like punk and zine culture since I was a teenager, and that whole idea of like, oh, you have this patch of this like obscure band or political idea, you know, that you have on your clothing, and you see someone else with that patch, and you know that maybe you have something in common, and maybe that's a way to talk to someone, to make a connection, or just maybe not to feel so isolated and alone. And then this year I made these wolf hankies. I'm really into this idea of like color being able to express different sexual practices, or just something about a person, and something be able to be read on many levels. So maybe, you know, you just see this tied around my neck. You might not read any code into it, but in the back pocket, and maybe coupled with like other signifiers, you might be able to tell that we're on the same team. So I really like that kind of unspoken code. Making art, with making zines, or making music, making events, is just for me like a way to connect to people, you know, and help people connect to each other, and not feel so alone and isolated, you know, really like community building through visual culture and social culture. A lot of artists or creative people, you know, you can define artists pretty broadly, aren't working full-time jobs, you know, that come with healthcare benefits. And so a lot of people are piecing together their livings so they have time to do their creative pursuits. I've been working this part-time nonprofit job for a decade, and I've never had healthcare through that job. A good friend of mine, he was a bike messenger, and he had heart problems, and he was uninsured and definitely didn't have the capacity to pay for all the medical bills. We as a community, we did some fundraisers for him. Like I organized like an art sale and party at my house, you know, and made him whatever, $500 or something, like a tiny drop in the bucket. I think those kinds of things are important, but they don't address like the root problem of the lack of health insurance for everyone, or health care for everyone really. But I believe in like multiple tactics for social change. The current system isn't working. I believe in building alternative systems, like, you know, my work of creating like temporary autonomous zones or temporary queer zones, creating these social spaces that we need to feel healthy and to connect one another, or alternative systems of care when one of our friends is hurt, or when someone has a baby and they need meals cooked for them. You know, working out these kind of socially minded commons kind of models. So working on those and making those, but also continuing to work for institutional and systemic change, because both of those things need to happen.